What ultimatum ended things with my partner? My boyfriend's dying grandfather made us swear we'd get engaged within 2 weeks so he could see a ring on my finger before hospice took over. When I said I needed more time, my boyfriend grabbed my hand and said, he doesn't have 2 weeks to wait on you. Tyler and I had been together almost 2 years when his grandfather, Hal, was diagnosed with late-stage lung disease. Hal had raised Tyler after his father left and their bond was fierce. Hal never fully warmed to me, always introducing me as Tyler's girl instead of my name. When the diagnosis came, doctors gave him maybe 6 weeks. Hal became obsessed with seeing Tyler married before he died. Every visit turned into him pulling out his late wife's engagement ring from a drawer, talking about how he needed to see it on someone's hand before he closed his eyes. Tyler would nod along, promising it would happen, while I sat there saying nothing because arguing with a dying man felt cruel. Then Hal's numbers got worse. Days, not weeks, the doctor said. The next visit, Hal grabbed both our hands and made us promise the proposal would happen within 2 weeks, ring and all. I need to see it before I go, he said. I can't die not knowing he's taken care of. Promise me you'll do it soon before I run out of time. I opened my mouth to say we hadn't even talked about a timeline for our own relationship, that we'd never really discussed forever, but Hal started crying about dying without seeing his grandson settled. Tyler squeezed my hand hard enough to hurt and said, we'll do it, Grandpa, soon. In the car after, I told Tyler I wasn't ready to get engaged on someone else's countdown. He hit the steering wheel and said, he's dying and you want to talk about being ready? You get all the time in the world. He doesn't. That became every conversation for the next 2 weeks. He started planning a proposal without me, booking a restaurant, telling his mother the date. When I said I needed us to actually talk about our future before making it official, he threw his keys across the room and told me I was choosing my own comfort over his grandfather's dying wish. He quit answering my calls unless it was about the proposal. He started showing up unannounced, pushing me to just say yes in advance so there'd be no surprises, no risk I'd say no in front of Hal. Hal called constantly asking if it had happened yet, and Tyler would put him on speaker while he cried about running out of time. Tyler stopped sleeping, stopped eating, spent all day at his grandfather's bedside, and all night pressuring me to commit. When I told him I needed just a little more space to think clearly, he slammed his hand against the wall beside my head and said I was going to be the reason his grandfather died brokenhearted. One night he showed up at my apartment with the ring already in a box, kneeling before I'd even opened the door fully, saying we were doing this now, tonight, no more waiting. When I stepped back and said I couldn't say yes under pressure like that, he grabbed my wrist and pulled me down onto the couch, holding my hand still while he tried to force the ring on my finger. He doesn't have 2 weeks to wait on you, he said, voice cracking. If you loved me, you'd just say yes. I yanked my hand free, got my keys, and left for my sister's place, calling her from the car in tears. I didn't call the police that night, but 2 days later, after he showed up at my work demanding an answer in front of my coworkers, I filed a report and got a protective order. Hal died 11 days later. Tyler left me a voicemail saying I'd stolen his grandfather's last happiness, that Hal died not knowing his grandson would be taken care of, all because of me. I blocked him. He didn't stay quiet. He told our mutual friends I'd abandoned him during his grandfather's final days. He left the engagement ring taped to my car door with a note that just said, you did this. Within 3 months, he was engaged to someone new, someone he met at Hal's funeral reception. She started posting photos of the same ring, the one that had once been pressed into my palm against my will. 5 months after that, she reached out to me. She said the pressure had started almost immediately, that he kept invoking his grandfather's memory to rush every decision, and that something about how fast it all moved felt wrong. When I told her what had actually happened, she went quiet, then told me she'd found messages on his old phone where he'd used nearly identical language with someone before me, someone he'd also pressured using a dying relative as leverage. We never went further than comparing notes, but she broke off the engagement that week. I still have the protective order on file, and I still flinch a little whenever someone shows me a ring box, but I don't flinch anymore at the sound of my own front door.